Good evening, Horwath colleague. I am calling in from Bangkok, Thailand tonight and like to give you an update of what we do in the health and wellness chapter of our beautiful company. Briefly, an overview of our company. We're concentrating only on the space where the wellness dollar and the travel dollar are merging, or where wellness meets wanderlust. That's our tagline. And there we got very active and have actually expanded our deliveries. And in particular, over the last 2 years, we were able to become a strategic advisor to several sovereign funds. But I'm going to go into more detail in the subsequent chapters. We started the year with 7 team members, but we lost 3 team members who returned back to Europe for no other reason than COVID, lockdowns and related. They wanted to be close to their families, and therefore our team presently is smaller than it earlier was, but it will be again, there will be some additions in the months and days to come. A little bit about the industry at large. The industry has grown tremendously. It's now a $4.5 trillion industry, which is nearly 6% of global GDP, or England and France together, they are generating approximately 4.5 trillion a year in total turnover in their GDP, or Germany generates 4.2 trillion. So you can see how huge that industry is. And what also has happened is the industry has very much woven itself together out of various different service platforms. So there is no wellness tourism without wellness real estate, and there's no wellness tourism without physical activity, meaning sports and related. And there's no wellness without eating healthy. So you can see they have very much woven itself together. And therefore, the chapter of wellness is not anymore one of just operating or analyzing or strategically planning wellness-related services, but one needs to have different pockets of knowledge, which requires that the team in our company which does this has a wide variety of skill sets, and I'm going to go through them and I'm going to talk about the various projects which we have accomplished. You have seen a similar slide from me before. This is an update. Again, it reminds us how detrimental the years 2008 to 2010 were. But in that sense, wellness has grown or doubled during those 2 years. And wellness tourism accounts right now for approximately 17% of total spending. And this has also increased from 7% just 4 years ago to now 17%, and it's continue rising above that. Global wellness tourism really takes place all over the globe, even in countries like Saudi Arabia, Africa, Alaska, where before there was no revenues registered. Right now they became very, very prominent. By country, the country which turns over the most is North America. By population, this means by individual living in this is Germany, and America is only number 8. So different dynamics, different parts of the world. The biggest growth market, like in many other things, is the Asia-Pacific region, which grew from 40 billion to 140 billion over the last 4 years. Now, the pandemic has changed a lot of dynamics there. And as you can see earlier, 2008 to 2010, it doubled. Right now, it's anticipating to get a tremendous move. But as I said earlier, it is not about massages, it is not about spas, it's a very complicated web of different skill sets, different asset classes, which are making the entire wellness economy work. Now, what has changed since 2020 March or February in some parts of the world, and what does COVID really do? There's a very different psychology. There's a very different consciousness over, going on a vacation, taking a flight and related. And that is kind of summed up in the anxieties and the psychological well-being many people have. There is simply much more cautiousness. People are also fatigued by the entire drama around COVID in certain parts of the world. Therefore, travel is anticipated to take place more in a 2-3 hour radius around one's home. And the extensive business travel and the extensive 15-hour flights to go to a certain destination may be a chapter of the past. Now, in design, tremendous changes have been taking place. It is not only that the places have to be hygienic and clean. That's the obvious. But aspects like alkaline balanced water, portable water, air-conditioned filter systems, so from a technological standpoint, have tremendously impacted of what is getting designed right now. In large-scale projects, the wellness community is very, very prominent. There will be more and more very large-scale wellness community where the wellness resort is the clubhouse, and everybody lives surrounded by the clubhouse, which is the wellness resort with 75 to 125 rooms or so, and they're paying premiums in order to be there. The design also has taken on a different simplicity in order to clean facilities very easy. And there is a very different material choice, which today is de rigueur for any larger development. Therefore, if we consult on this chapter, we need to be very much familiar with the technology portion, the design portion, the financial portion, the front and heart of house developments, and that demonstrates some of the complexities in the health and wellness portion of our business. Now, a big change has taken place in the demographics who are participating. Until just a few years ago, it was predominantly the luxury traveler or the uber luxury traveler, the high net worth individual. But what really has happened, COVID has ensured that the consciousness that if you don't do the right thing with your immune system, if you don't, work out, eat well, and have a strong body, you will have a disadvantage. And that disadvantage has not only hit the 12 million people who are infected by COVID, but also has really gotten into the consciousness of everybody around the world. And therefore, there's a tremendous growth in this, tremendous anticipation of developing 2-, 3-, and 4-star environments where wellness is at the center of it. Again, different asset classes are emerging, different space plannings are emerging, and different service platforms within the wellness retreats are emerging and getting segregated and going on their own. Now, let's recap a little bit visually some of the things the health and wellness team has done. Now, first, an industry update. WTS was bought by CI Capital. WTS was only really working in North America with a little bit of international work, but really was mostly done by outsourced individuals. They were a former partner of HVS. That relationship lasted only 2 years. But anyhow, it was bought by CI Capital. HVS, however, has appointed its own person. It's unfortunately a single person working out of her respective office. It's a wonderful person. It's a very sincere person. And I'm happy to say that while we would never ever touch anything from HVS, the entire consulting portion, the design portion, actually to a large extent gets sourced out to our sister company, Goka Hospitality. RLA was supposed to merge, but really from a larger company became a small company. Now it's down to only the CEO. So there has been a very different change taking place. And Raison d'Être was part of the Intercontinental Hotel acquisition of Six Senses, made a subsidiary of Intercontinental, and therefore Intercontinental does its own health and wellness work at this moment. We worked in different parts of the world, in different projects, and I'm going to visually share with you what they are. The biggest project we have been involved in, or actually I don't think there is a bigger project around the world at this moment from a financial as well as from a size standpoint. Amala is a 16.5 euro development, billion-dollar development. And the wellness portion alone is the wellness portion you see above the logo here in the center. It is a portion which has a value of $1.4 billion, where hospitals, 3 dedicated wellness resorts, a wellness institute, as well as an entire wellness village comes together. This was entirely conceptualized by our company. The entire feasibility was done by our company. Then we did the master plan, and right now we are in design development. So this is really a fantastic project. We work with many, many good partners. So you can see here both GoCo and Horwath very prominently amongst the McKinseys, the PricewaterhouseCoopers, the Oliver Wymans, the A.T. Kearneys, and the Deloittes and the KPMG. So we have really taken a good stab at that, and we are a permanent feature of this establishment in the Middle East. This is part of the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, and it's a pet project of MBS. I was invited earlier this year to join the board of this company. It has some of the most illustrious hoteliers. That's not me, the others. Ritz-Carlton founder Horst Schulze, Regent Amman founder George Raphael, Barry Sternlicht, among several others, are part of this 12-member board. And I have to say, it is very interesting to exchange and to work with them. Here you can see a couple visuals. The bottom left slide shows you the incredible, beautiful underwater scenery that is really dramatic and really fantastic. The second big project in Saudi Arabia also came to us, and this time Sir Norman Foster and his partners asked us to do 12 projects in one go. So you see the various assets here. We're going to do all the spa and wellness work there for the respective hotels, as well as one destination retreat with 180 keys. The Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company has its most profitable hotel with a 65% GOP, very high. It's the Ritz-Carlton Russell Kema. And it's a wildlife sanctuary. It's a high-end mice meeting business hotel. It's the former banyan tree, which now gets converted into a Ritz-Carlton lifestyle hotel. We created a 6,000 square meter spa and did the entire feasibility project. In the middle of the year, after we were appointed for those 2 Saudi projects as part of the Saudi Sovereign Fund, the Oman Tourism Agency came to us and asked us if we can look at the 14 wellness hotels and resorts they're planning as part of their master plan. It's a total 134 million square kilometer development, and the 14 hotels are part of approximately 40 hotels which are getting developed there. We are doing the entire assessments of their financials for those 14 wellness hotels, and then our sister company, GoCo, is heavily involved in the entire master plan of this huge development there. I apologize, something happened there. In Canada, a very interesting proposition came to us, actually from a client with whom we have done various things in Southeast Asia. He established with his family, while he bought with his family, a huge oceanfront site with approximately 50 hectares of land, and develops there various residential components, as well as on the oceanfront, a dedicated wellness resort, the first one in Canada of this magnitude, and financed from Canadian, Indian, and Chinese money altogether. Lord Oxmantown came to us a second time after we had first worked with him 3 years ago in order to understand his project. You can see here a picture of Beer Castle. Beer Castle is the castle where the first microscope as well as the first steam engine was developed by Scottish and German engineers many years ago. It is now in the hand of his family, and we are in the process of converting this into a dedicated wellness enclave. The Norwegian Sovereign Fund and a friend of mine of Holland came to us last year in the fall, and we started this year together with the Sovereign Fund an entire undertaking where we are creating 120 glamping cabins and a 65-room high-end wellness resort there. The top right shows the entire site, and the Norwegian Sovereign Fund, which is called Innovation Norway, after we made our presentation about the concept and about the feasibility, gave us this entire piece of land, you can see there, for the tremendous amount of lease for 60 years of €1 a year. So it's a very interesting proposition. Our sister company took a 25% stake in this project, and right now we are developing it with the first 4 prototypes of those cabins under construction, and you can see them here in the other 3 pictures. In Bordeaux, a Dutch as well as a Lebanese investor came to us to create outside of Bordeaux a very beautiful wellness resort, which is going to be 125-room dedicated wellness resort, and then it has bungalows and exclusive villas which are for sale. We have not started the work there. We just finished our negotiations, and we are anticipating to start either before the year end or perhaps early next year. In Suzhou, China, the developer and the owner of this piece of land on the left side of the picture, this is the far end of a peninsula which has 3 islands outside the city of Suzhou. He has bought this piece of land, and he got a permit, and we are now recreating an old Chinese village, but making it a modern 35-room wellness hotel. Very, very interesting, very, very unique, very, very history meets modernity, technology meets wellness kind of project. In Samui in Thailand, the owner of the Samunjana retreat is 23 houses where people like Sir Murray, former chairman of Hutchison Whampoa, and other industrialists have their $5 to $15 million homes, came to us and asked us if we would be interested to develop a wellness resort as part of his development. We created the feasibility, and we are right now in the concept development and then going into the design. And for all the soccer fans among us, a friend of mine bought the rights for Paris Saint-Germain here in Thailand, and he's creating right now a soccer academy. We can see already on the left side some pictures of the under construction development, and the Paris Saint-Germain Soccer Academy is going to be a product of a feasibility created under Horwath Health and Wellness, and then the management rights going to come to our sister company, and we just signed the LOI for a GoCo branded Paris Saint-Germain hotel here in Thailand. Montazur is a large development in Kamala Bay, very close to the Amanpuri on the left side, and many other hotels on the right side. It has an M collection by Accor. It has an Intercontinental where we designed the spa already in it. The developer came to us recently and asked us to develop an entire wellness community there. We have started in gathering ideas and get creative input. We had our first brainstorming actually earlier today, and we're going to go next week to site in order to create a large wellness community there for this mixed-use development in a very picturesque bay in Phuket. And last but not least, Marina Bay Sands, the casino, part of the Venetian Empire, coming from the United States, but also Macau, is redeveloping for $1.2 billion the entire casino. They're creating an entire tower. That's the tower you can see on the left side there. and they approached Horwath Health and Wellness to do the entire feasibility and market research. And then from there came an appointment as strategic advisor, and we are right now in the concept development and in the design services for this very ultra luxurious 700-room hotel, but as well for a 2-story spa and wellness facility in the existing. Now, the way forward are, well, let's talk first about some of the upcoming collaborations. We have a very good collaboration with the office of Marius in Budapest. We're doing one project in the Seychelles. So here, Horwath Health and Wellness did the feasibility, GoCo did the design, and now the Budapest office is doing the capital raise. With our friends in Serbia, we collaborated on a project where an entire valley with mineral springs in a beautiful Serbian town will be redeveloped into a dedicated wellness resort, into a dedicated medical resort, as well as into a MICE hotel, which most probably will be managed by Western hotels. And we are again here collaborating with Marius, this beautiful project. And you can see this bathhouse there developed between the 15th and the 17th century, a beautiful piece of art in the center of Budapest. Marius and our team is collaborating at this moment very, very actively in order to actually present it to the owner in the next 2 weeks. A dedicated market research, concept development, architectural planning product, which will ensure that this beautiful facility will again grow and prosper. And last but not least, a couple of days ago, our friends from the Greece office and the Serbia office, we put a documentation together in order to collaborate with both offices to hopefully redevelop this entire 950 hectare site in Greece. So we did a lot of great collaboration. There's a couple of offices which are really wonderful to work with. There's a very harmonious back and forth. There's an exchange. There's a great brainstorming. And I have to honestly say, we very much enjoy this. Last but not least here, our friends from Rio de Janeiro, from Sao Paulo, are collaborating with us right now on a project called the Fasano. The Fasano has 3 beautiful hotels. It's the best hotel in Rio, the best hotel in Sao Paulo, and they have a resort. That resort is managed by somebody who perhaps hasn't taken advantage of the beautiful facilities which are there, and we are discussing of how to convert this hotel into a dedicated wellness retreat. Now, this is everything we have done so far in Horwath Health and Wellness. We had first some very unusual months, like all of us in the months of March, April, and May, but then the business came back. I can see a pipeline really growing for next year. I believe health and wellness will very much prosper, but also health and wellness, which gets much more complicated. And if we would not have our dedicated design office, our finance office, our operations office, we could never do our work. And while we have only 4 to 7 people in Horwath, every one of those products we are delivering, we have the architecture program and the adjacency planning and all of those kind of things we're doing with our architects from GoCo, where we then back charging certain things, as well as the entire operational concepts and the marketing concepts our marketing or operational departments under GoCo are doing. So it's a beautiful working with the 40 people we have here in our offices, and we are very happy to be part of the Horwath HTL network, and we are looking forward to collaborating in the future. Thank you so much.